Hi everyone. We'll now move on to the answer for extra practice question 1b. So the question reads, the president is about to announce that she will be giving the sales team a $5,000 raise next year. This will increase fixed marketing costs by $5,000. In addition, she is confident sales will increase by 8,000 units next year. Based on these changes, what operating income should the company expect to earn next year? And then it asks, is the president's idea to raise fixed marketing costs a good one? Now, this is the longest question of the three. And so you might be thinking, oh, well, it's the longest, it must be the hardest. Not necessarily. Let's go through the information that's presented and work this one out. Now, in the first question, you'll notice there's two questions here, the last sentence and the second last sentence. In the second last sentence, the question asks, what operating income should the company expect to earn next year? So as soon as we see the words operating income, we should know that we'll need to refer to our standard formula, but instead of making the formula equal to 0, we'll want to make the formula equal to operating income and then solve the variables. Once we do that and we know what the operating income will be under the president's plan, we then have to answer the second half of the question, which is it a good idea? And to do that, what we'll need to do is figure out what their current income is and compare the two and see which one is higher. So let's do that. So let's start by writing out the formula that by now we all know and love. 1b. We have our sales price per unit times our number of units produced and sold minus variable cost per unit times the number of units produced and sold minus total fixed costs in dollars. But unlike in part A, we're going to make this equal income. All right. Now, what do we know from the question? Well, the sales price is still $5. It didn't say anything about the sales price changing. Now, what about the number of units produced and sold? Under the president's plan, so we'll say here, we'll call this the proposed plan. So under the president's proposed plan, the number of units produced each year is going to be going up by 8,000 units. And we know from the original question, the number of units was set at 72,000. So 8,000 plus 72,000 is 80,000 units. Our variable costs per unit won't change. The information hasn't changed, so we'll leave that at 270 and $80,000 units. Now, what's happening with our fixed costs? Well, in the question it reads that the sales team is going to be receiving a $5,000 raise. So we have to add $5,000 in total fixed costs to the original $30,500. So that will add up $30,500, you'll recall, plus another $5,000 is $35,500. So let's put that in here. And this will equal income. So now we have a value for each of our variables. The only variable that we don't know is income, but if we solve all of this, we'll have our income. So let's figure this out with some quick math. 5 times 80,000 units is $400,000 in sales. 2.7 times 80,000 is 216,000 in total variable costs, right? We have our unit variable cost plus our number of units produced is equal to total variable costs of 216,000 minus 35,500. And this will equal 400 minus 216 $148,500 in income under the president's proposed plan. So we've now answered the first part of the question. The second part is, well, is it a good idea? So we have to compare the president's plan with the current plan. And the current plan is simply the information that was presented in the original question. So let's plug those numbers into our formula and see what we come out with. So the sales price in the current plan was $5. That's not changing. Our number of units produced and sold, though, under the current plan, you'll recall, was 72,000. Our variable costs per unit don't change, so it's still $270 a duck times 72,000. And our total fixed costs are now going back to what they were originally, 30,500. So let's put that in. And this will all equal income. So let's do the math and see what we get. 5 times 72,000 is equal to 360,000. 270, times 72,000 is equal to 194,400 minus 30,500. So one more round here, 360,000 minus 194,400 minus 30,500. And under the current plan, income equals $135,100. So when we compare the president's proposed plan to the current plan, we could see that the president's proposed plan leads us to a higher income than under the current plan. So therefore, we'll recommend that the president move forward with her plan. Therefore, accept president's plan because it leads to a higher income. And that is how you answer question 1B.